Hi everyone, it's Miss Naima again. So welcome back to another class key text video from your chapter book of The Secret Diary of Jane Penny. So let's get reading again. And we are on page 94. That went funny, I says. You should see your face, he says, in his normal voice. That's funny. Davy ain't much older than me, more boy than man. He told me once that he started here as an apprentice gardener when he was 12, and by the muscle on him, I'd say they have him working hard. So let's see what Jane means by that. So the gardeners in a large Victorian estate would have had an incredible number of duties, as well as providing flowers for an impressive display in the garden themselves. They'd have to grow plenty for indoor displays in vases, table centerpieces, and more. There would also be the vegetable garden providing much, if not all, of the vegetable for the house. On top of this, there might well be fruit orchards and formal gardens with endless hedges to be clipped and vast lawns requiring tending and mowing. A head gardener would have a whole army of gardeners, assistant gardeners, and under gardeners working for him. Well, I says, pretending not to be all embarrassed, you shouldn't sneak up on people. You're not people. You're a maid, says Davy with a cheeky grin, and you shouldn't be sneaking round the garden. I'm doing important work, I says. I am detecting. Detecting? Like Scotland Yard? So what's Scotland Yard? Let's have a look. Scotland Yard was the headquarters of the Metropolitan Police in London until 1890, when it moved to New Scotland Yard. I think Davy was about to make another joke at my expense, but stopped himself when he saw how serious I looked. I quickly told him about checking footprints, and he was impressed. I couldn't very well tell him about Plum, so I said with me own idea. At that moment, I thought back to one of the very particular servants' rules I'd been made to learn by heart. Any maid found fraternizing with a member of the opposite sex will be dismissed. That meant talking to a man. That was all right in servants' hall, all right, but probably not out here on our own when I shouldn't even be there. But still, too late to turn back now. Me and Davy looked at the flower bed together. Nothing. The soil at the bottom of the drain pipe was undisturbed. I was really disappointed as I hurried back indoors to return to my duties. I could feel Davy's eyes watching me as I went. At supper in the servants' hall this evening, Mrs. McNamara told a story about a missing jewel where the thief turned out to be a magpie. One of the fancy blue and white birds was strutting around like a haughty footman in his fine livery. Mr. Harris, the master's gentleman's gentleman, said that in the version he knew it was a jackdaw, what was a thief, and, anyways, it would have to be a bird as big as an albatross to be able to fly off with a jade necklace. Mr. Pritchard frowned at him from the head of the table with his caterpillar eyebrows, as if to say that the theft was no laughing matter. So Mr. Harris quickly changed the talk to an albatross in some poem full of gloom and doom. Let's have a look what full of gloom and doom means. So the poem was The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge in 1834. In it, a sailor kills an albatross, which brings him bad luck. Okay. Only poem I know is even a part of is The Charge of the Light Brigade. So what's the Charge of the Light Brigade? Let's have a look. So written in 1854 by Alfred Lord Tennyson, was poet laureate, official poet to the Queen. It commemorated the charge of British light cavalry against Russian forces at the Battle of Balaclava in the same year. Many assume most, if not all, of the 600 died. In fact, only 118 were killed. So that was the charge of the Light Brigade. Me dad used to love quoting the line, Into the Valley of Death rode the 600. All dramatic like, though I reckon that was the only line of it he knew. Come to think of it, it's the only line I know too. Day 32. One good piece of news today. It seems that Mrs. Kirbytrot has a soft spot for Jack. He's been allowed 3 days' rest and now put on below stairs duties like polishing the cutlery, sharpening knives, and stuff which he can do mostly sitting down while his leg mends. All tease him about him having it easy and putting his feet up, but I knows we're all thinking, there, but for the grace of God, Go I. He's not being paid. They've had to get in a temporary footman to replace him, but he does have a roof over his head and food in his belly, and if all goes well, a job to go back to at the end of it. Mr. Pritchard has said that the master is being more than generous, and who am I to disagree? I remember when my neighbor Ethel Jones got a job as a scullery maid, but lost it when she got the flu. She couldn't work, was replaced the same day, and that was it. Although the talk is still about the missing necklace, and poor Nellie can't go anywhere without the other servants giving her that look and whispering behind her back, life goes on. Okay, that was all our reading done for today's class key text. And remember, if you want, you can rewind and pause the video at any time to read at your own pace. So get a pencil and paper to jot down these two questions to answer, just to check how well you've read the class text with me. So number one is, what bird did Mrs. McNamara describe in her story as the jewel thief? And you will find your answer to that question in page 98. And question number two is, name one below stairs duty that Jack, the tall footman, was now given due to his injury. And you will find that on page 100. So pause and rewind the video to look back at the pages that we've read together, to look for your answers for these two questions. And please also remember to put your answers on Tapestry so I can have a look of how well you read the class text today. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed reading together with me. Bye.